What if everything you've heard about a haunted house was just the beginning? Laura thought she was only exploring an abandoned mansion, but what she didn't know was that it had been waiting for her. From chilling whispers to a shadow that followed her every move, this is the true story of a house that doesn't just haunt, it hunts. It was a quiet night in Ravenwood, the kind where the wind rustled leaves and wolves howled in the distance. But something felt off tonight, like the shadows were watching, waiting. Laura, new to this small town, had heard strange rumors about the mansion on the hill. The locals spoke in hushed tones, but curiosity got the best of her. As she climbed the winding path to the mansion, the moon's light cast a strange glow over the building. Every part of her screamed to turn back, but she couldn't. She had to know. A loud thud echoed from the mansion. She paused. "Who's there?" Her voice barely cut through the wind. No response. The mansion seemed to swallow her words. Pushing open the creaky door, she stepped inside. Darkness consumed her, and her flashlight flickered to life. Dust-covered furniture and faded portraits lined the walls. Something was off, but she pressed on. A cold breeze brushed her skin, sending chills down her spine. At the end of the hallway, a door stood slightly ajar. She walked toward it, her footsteps the only sound. As she reached the door, it creaked open, revealing a grand staircase. Laura hesitated. The air around the stairs felt heavy. She climbed slowly, each step seeming like a weight. At the top, a faint sound echoed, a soft, rhythmic tapping. The sound came from one of the rooms. Laura approached. Inside, a rocking chair moved slowly back and forth, though the room was empty. She stepped closer, unease settling in. Then the door slammed shut. Laura spun around. There was no one. The room was eerily still. A whisper floated in the air. "You shouldn't have come," it said, raspy and strained. Laura's skin crawled. She spun around, searching for the source. Nothing. The room was empty. Her flashlight flickered, then died, plunging her into darkness. Panic set in. She tried her phone, but there was no signal. Just silence and the weight of fear pressing in. Footsteps echoed from behind her, slow, deliberate. She spun around, nothing. But the footsteps kept coming, growing closer, louder. A shadow flickered at the edge of her vision. She turned, but again nothing. Only the decaying walls of the mansion. The whispers grew louder. "Leave, now," they begged. Laura's body trembled, but she forced herself to move, to escape. She rushed toward the door, but as her hand touched the handle, something cold and wet wrapped around her wrist. She recoiled, but it lingered, crawling up her arm like fingers, clammy and cold. Before she could react, the door burst open, slamming against the wall. The room warped around her, the walls stretching and bending. The whispers turned into screams. The air thickened with a presence that felt ancient and malevolent. Laura ran, but every door she opened led to another identical room. The house was trapping her. Then she saw it, standing in the shadows. A tall, thin figure with glowing eyes, its face hidden by darkness. "Who are you?" Laura whispered. The figure didn't answer. It just stared at her, its presence suffocating. The air grew colder, the pressure building as if the house was waiting for her to make a mistake. The figure stretched out a hand, its long, bony fingers reaching for her. Laura froze, unable to move. In the silence of the house, the figure's voice cut through. "You're not meant to be here." Laura stumbled backward, her breath caught in her throat. The room seemed to twist, the walls closing in. It hit her all at once. She hadn't come here by chance. The house had been waiting for her. With a scream, she turned to flee, but the figure's cold fingers gripped her wrist, pulling her into the darkness. The mansion had claimed her, just as it had claimed so many before her. And the whispers would continue, forever waiting for the next curious soul to wander in.